Well, after 4 days of hanging out in Gettysburg, as you can see, we're back at our high-tech indoor range. And I can't say we, it's actually me. It's just me today. So if the camera work is a little sketchy, that's my fault. Gypsy's home sleeping. She works nights, so doing it solo. But we're here for another wheel gun weekend. And well, let's get right to what we're talking about. What we're going to be covering today is a question that I've heard asked a few times. And if you're like me, you've probably watched a lot of YouTube videos talking about different guns and all that good stuff. But I had a couple of friends that have asked me, is Taurus as good as a Smith & Wesson? Well, I can give you a short answer. Yes and no. The Taurus is a very good gun. And if we're talking about putting bullets downrange accurately, yeah, it's as good as a Smith & Wesson. If we're talking about fit and finish, no, it's not as good as a Smith & Wesson. If we're talking trigger pull, well, it's kind of hard. It depends on the gun. Some people have gotten Tauruses with really heavy triggers, and I've got one that's pretty damn smooth. And it's about as heavy as my Smith & Wesson. I think the Smith is a little bit smoother. And it's hard to put my finger on how much better it is or not. But in all seriousness, these guns are apples and oranges. The 605, well, that's a considerably heavier gun than the 642 Smith. This thing's a joy to carry. You almost don't even know it's on you. But recoil can be a problem. For some people, it's a big problem. Other people, it's no big deal. For me, it's not that bad. Although Taurus is actually a 357, and I tend to carry plus P's in it, so to me they're kind of interchangeable. I definitely like having the extra weight when I'm shooting 357s through this thing, or even plus P's. And with plus P's in this, it's a bit of a handful, but it's not uncontrollable. So we're going to do a little bit of shooting, and we'll just put them on target and see how I do with them. I'm going to shoot at 7 yards. I'm going to be shooting 148 grain wad cutters. And these are not exactly light loaded. I could load them down lower, but I tend to like them a little stouter, and they also double as a home defense. Because where I live, I am really concerned about over penetration, and well, a wad cutter doesn't require expansion to do what it does. But that's a topic for another, for another time. Yeah. So let's just get to shooting. I'd lost my train of thought. The first shot's going downrange. It's going to be from the Taurus 605. We're going to do 5 shots at 7 yards, double action only, just so it's fair, with the Smith & Wesson. And boy, do I need to practice. Like I said, I need to practice. Now, I don't know how well this is going to show up, but I did mark the 5 shots from the Taurus. And now we'll go to 5 shots from the Smith & Wesson. Yeah, I definitely need some practice. Oh well. Now we'll get a little closer picture here. You got one dead bullseye. Got one right there. 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 Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Huh. Let's try that again. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one kind of fooled me. Right there. Thought that was a line to it, but it's just a tear in the paper. So, you make the decision on that. Which one shot better? To me, they shot about the same. But that's just me. Get back under the baffles here. So you tell me, is the Smith & Wesson a better shooter than the Taurus? I don't see any real difference. Let's go back down to the other end down here. And go kick at everything. I don't know about you. How many of you guys out there live in the Northeast and they're just dying for spring? I'm dying to get the motorcycle back out. Jeez. But this is how I occupy my time in the meantime. Making silly videos. I really don't notice a whole lot of difference in the trigger pull. Hang on a second. There's always one round that sticks. Any real significance in the trigger pulls. They both shoot fairly close to the point of aim. You see the Taurus kind of favors the right side of the target. I am left-handed, so if I jerk the trigger or whatever, it usually goes to the right. The Smith & Wesson tends to shoot a little vertically and a little high with wad cutters. But maybe that's the answer. It's just whatever fits your hand better, whatever you like better, whatever you can afford. There's a huge difference in price between these two guns. The Smith & Wesson is, right, what are they going for now? Somewhere around $500, which is not bad. I mean, it's like Smith & Wesson's budget gun. And the Taurus goes for around 300 and change. That may not be a huge difference, but some people, that $200 is hard to come by. We can't all sit there and go out and buy the latest, greatest, newest, top of the line Smith & Wesson, which, by the way, I just saw a video on that. The new version of the 642 with the adjustable sights and it's got the, what do you call it? Night sights on it, or true glow sights or whatever. And this guy had to send it back. He pulled the trigger and it would lock back and it wouldn't release. It just jammed right up. You had to stick his thumb underneath it and kind of push it forward in order to get it to reset. That's a Smith & Wesson. You know, I haven't had a lick of trouble with this Taurus. It's been absolutely a perfect gun. It's never misfired. It's never had a light strike. Although the 856 of my wife's, the 6-shot gun, that gets light strikes if you're using CCI primers. With Barbarell primers, it's pretty good. I don't really remember the last time it had a misfire. But this gun has been flawless for me. Have people had problems with them? Yeah, they have. Have people had problems with Smiths? Yep, definitely. And take a choice. I actually like both of them. I like the Taurus with the heavier gun for coming here on the range and practicing. I do most of my practice with the Taurus. Yes, I carry the Smith more, which is probably stupid of me, but I like the lightweight gun when I'm carrying. It's a gun that you carry more than you shoot. But at 7 yards, I can do what I need to do. And even at longer ranges, I can, you know, if I start carrying it more or, you know, shoot it more, you know, I'd come back in and be able to do, you know, 40-yard shots with it, which is ridiculously long for a snub nose. But all I'm trying to do at that point is hit a man-sized target in the upper torso area. I'm not trying to be super precise. Well, you can't be. Gutter sights and double action only is, you know, doesn't make it a target gun. Now, the Taurus does have the advantage of pulling the hammer back, but I really don't practice that way with these guns. I practice double action only. Actually, the new gun I just bought, well, new to me, was a Ruger LC9, not LC9S, but an LC9, the double action LC9. I actually like that gun. It's the kind of gun that I carry and go, yeah, I'm not going to pull this trigger accidentally. My wife's EC9, oh my God, that trigger on that is slick, but it has very little feedback. I really can't feel when it's going to break. So it's very easy to double that gun without even trying. You can shoot really fast with it, but, you know, I'm not so worried about half-second splits. Okay. I'm more worried about, or more concerned with, not even worried, more concerned with getting my shots where they need to be. Well, you see the target down there. All those shots are where they need to be. What can I say? Now, I do need practice, and which is what I'm going to go do now. So, thanks for watching. If you like this, hey, I'll do more. I've got a lot of revolvers to play with. Up until recently, that's all I owned. Actually, for a short time, I had carried a 1911. And the only other auto I had was a 1914 Mauser, which I still have, but I don't really shoot it much. It's kind of more of a take it out once in a while and, you know, buy a box of 32s and plink away with it. But I don't seriously carry that gun. It's just too old and can break really easily. So that's that. I am also thinking about doing another video on double action revolvers, or using revolvers on double action. Actually, I do have one more snub nose. It's kind of an archaic gun. It's a 1940s vintage Enfield revolver. You know, if you're familiar with them, it's the top break type gun. That gun has got an absolutely slick double action. Matter of fact, it's double action only, even though it does have a hammer on it. It's a bobbed hammer. That has got the slickest double action I've ever fired, and it's in a caliber most people don't want to use. It's in 38 Smith & Wesson. I actually carried that gun for a while, You know, it was just something I would carry to gun shows and stuff to when I was, doing gun shows when we were at the gun shop. I'd have that on my belt. It's not really a pocket gun for its size. It's a 6-shot, but it's got a full-size grip on it like a 6-inch gun would have. And it's not easy to conceal in your pocket. But, excuse me. But I think I'm going to wind up doing a video on a couple of older guns that I have out there. The Old Smiths and Enfields, and maybe even some single actions that I've got floating around. So, like I said before, if you like this kind of stuff, hey, let me know. Give me a thumbs up, whatever, all that, like, share, subscribe, blah, blah, blah stuff. But you guys have a good day, and we'll see you.